Hello, my name is Brenna Tipton. I am an English 1 teacher for ninth grade at William Blount High School, and I am currently pursuing my Master's in Literacy from UT Martin. This technology-based lesson plan is based off of a lesson I do in class that I call my Animal Farm one-pager lesson. This lesson is meant to follow us finishing the novel in class, and it is meant to precede students beginning their Animal Farm essay. Now, for this lesson, it is based off the second reading literature standard for 9th and 10th grade, which is determine a theme or central idea of a text and analyze its development. So there are three main goals of this lesson: that students will be able to identify a major theme in writing of their choosing in Animal Farm. The students will be able to visually represent a major theme of their choosing from Animal Farm on Google Drawings, and the student will be able to cite and incorporate at least 4 pieces of text evidence from Animal Farm that support the major theme of their choosing. Now, why I like this lesson is that it really helps students solidify a theme in their mind that we have previously talked about in class via class discussion and analysis of the book, and its connections to the history of Soviet Russia and George Orwell's purposes for writing the novel. However, it gives them a way to creatively think about these themes and apply it to their own lives in a visual way before they begin their literary analysis essay about the novel. Now, for this lesson, there are many materials needed. Students need to have their copies, physical or digital, of the novel Animal Farm so that they can refer back to the novel for the text evidence they'll need to find for their one-pager. They will need to have their reading and discussion notes they did on Google Docs during the novel study to assist them in choosing their theme they want to represent in this one-pager. They will need to use Google Drawings to make the one-pager about the theme of their choosing. They will need the rubric. They will need the think sheet for the closure activity. They will need to watch a video as a class on how to use Google Drawings. And as I am the teacher, they will be provided with previous one-pagers that other students have made in years gone by so that they can have examples. And finally, for students who want them, they can have a template for their one-pagers. Now, for this lesson, what I really like about using Google Drawings for it is that it allows students to extend their thinking on the themes from Animal Farm from previous lessons. While most of the work done in English classes in high school is primarily focused on writing, this gives a chance for students with other learning styles, such as visual learners or students interested in art, to show their knowledge about the book before they get into the more standards applicable writing essays. Additionally, by using student drawings, even students who can't do this by hand have a way to be able to easily create visuals for their one-pager. And finally, since students are able to access all of their discussion notes from previous lessons on Google Docs, they can more quickly access their thoughts they already had on the novel, and students who need screen readers can use that to help them. Now, to begin this lesson, there is an anticipatory set that starts with a bell ringer, mainly to activate their prior knowledge. I have found with 9th graders, even if we talk about it all year, we always need to remind ourselves what is a theme, because the idea of theme changes from middle school to the 9th grade level where my students are at, where previously they think of themes as topic words like love or kindness or war, whereas when they get to high school, we really have to emphasize theme is not one word. Theme is a large idea that we can take away, a universal message. So we always begin when we talk about theme by reviewing what that is. Now, based on previous class discussions, they need to pull what they've reviewed. What is a theme from Animal Farm? Because by this point, they should have determined a theme. Next, in order to prepare them for after they have chosen a theme as part of their bell ringer, they need to think about why did they choose this theme, because it's going to set up a lot of their thinking for their one-pagers. Now, students are going to have 3 to 4 minutes to just jot their thoughts down and share their answers. Generally, I take volunteers and pull popsicle sticks with students' name on them. My students always know they need to have something prepared to say, even if it's just a best guess. Then I will share the standards and learning objectives with the class. Now, this may not be the most interesting class opening, but I really feel like it's important with my students to re-hit these skills involving theme before we begin, or else the end product won't be as solid. However, after sharing the learning objectives, generally we have a class discussion about how previously we connected these themes to the history of the book and involving Soviet Russia and how the book is an allegory. But at this point with the one-pagers, they really get to start to apply the themes to their own lives and the modern society we live in. Now, before computer use, I always take the time to explain what a one-pager is. It's generally the first one we do in the year, and I will show them examples of one-pagers. Now, for this activity, I have not done it on Google Drawings before, so I wouldn't have a Google Drawings example to give them. However, I do have plenty of examples from previous years as examples from students that they could use as inspiration. Then we would watch a class video on how to use Google Drawings. I linked that on the first slide, and it is linked on my lesson plan, because I feel like it's very important for students to understand how to use the tools they are given. Next, I would go over the rubric, which you will see on a previous slide, of what they will be graded on. Finally, I just go over some computer work expectations, including using their notes. Copying the notes isn't enough. They need to transform their understanding of a theme from a novel into a visual representation. They can look at examples of one-pagers online. That's okay, but they do need to, I would review with them that if you are not giving credit to the original artist and you do not have permission from them to use their design, that is plagiarism, because I would feel like or I have had in the past students trace one-pagers from online of where teachers had posted students' examples and it was plagiarism. They did get a 0. Now, during computer use, they would begin by reviewing their notes and their novels to determine which theme they want to represent. If they change their mind from their bell ringers, they would have to choose at least 3 pieces of text evidence to support their theme, which will be incorporated into the design of their one-pagers. And they'd have to locate which page numbers their text evidence comes from, because it's important that even though this is a visual project, they are still citing properly and incorporating those written skills into this visual project. Next, they would go to Google Classroom and find the assignment Animal Farm one-pager. That assignment would have a blank Google Docs drawings assignment attached to them for them to create their one-pagers, and the design from there is up to them. It's a very open-ended assignment as long as they are getting the information. Now, I do have templates available for students, and these templates look like this. I think templates are a good starting point for many students who aren't sure how to begin from a blank page. Some kids love beginning from a blank page, some kids don't. However, you can copy and paste these designs onto a blank Google drawing and fill things in from there, which many students find very, very helpful as far as getting started. Now, finally, after computer use, students will have to submit their assignments, and then students will present their one-pagers to the class. I would start with volunteers, but from there I'm pulling sticks. Now, while sharing, students need to explain why they chose the theme and how it relates to their visual representation they made on their one-pagers. Then students would explain to the class how their 3 pieces of evidence support their chosen theme. Finally, for an assessment, which will be on the next slide, the rubric assesses their written statement of theme from the novel incorporated onto their one-pager, their written and cited text evidence, their visual representation of theme, and the presentation to the class. As part of closure, students' answers on their think sheet questions will also assess their understanding of theme and how their evidence supports the theme they chose. I think it's very important that even on this rubric, it is clear that what is being assessed are our skills for English and not whether they're good artistic pieces, because that's not the goal of this class. So for example, they need to have a written statement of theme, properly cited evidence, their visuals relate to their theme. I do say they have to use at least 3 colors, or else some kids would definitely phone it in on that front. And then their presentation to the class relate to our speaking and writing standards that we incorporate every single day, even if they aren't an explicit part of the lesson. Finally, there are some think sheet questions for them to put their learning into writing. And that's how this lesson would end. That's all I have. This is my technology-based lesson plan. Thank you so much.